Kia ora ngā hoa mā. This is my newest video on how to make a fidget spinner. This is going to be the first one in a three-part series. So what you can see here is this is an old bearing out of one of my skateboards. Now the first thing you need to do is clean the bearing. I used turpentine, and then I used WD-40 to try and remove as much of the grease and grit as I possibly could. When you make your fidget spinner, the next thing you need to do is remove the cover or the casing on the outside of the bearing. It's that little plate that I just removed using a flathead screwdriver. Now you want to remove both plates on both sides. Now because the bearing was so old, you can see here there's like a little washer that sits inside the bearing that the bearings sit on top of to keep the bearings separated, and I found that the bearing didn't spin very fast. So to make it spin faster, what I did is I removed that washer out. Now what I've got here is two bottle caps. Now those are going to be the main, like, I suppose, propellers of my fidget spinner, because you need the weight for this fidget spinner to spin. So what I did is I got these two Pepsi bottle caps and cut crescent shapes out of them so that they matched up to the edges of the bearing. And then I got some Quick Fix Sally's super glue. Now you could use Sally's super glue, or you could also use hot glue. I'll probably reinforce what I've done here today with hot glue, and I'm just going to glue the edge. Now to make the super glue stick to both surfaces, I do recommend that you scuff not only the bottle caps but the outside rim of the bearing, which will help make a better stick or a better bond between the two surfaces. So I press them together and I gently hold it in place. Now at the beginning of the video, while I'm holding this in place, what you'll notice is that on my bearing I point out a number. Now the higher the number on the bearing, the faster the bearing will go. So if you have an ABEC 3 bearing on a skateboard and try to use that to make a fidget spinner, you'll probably find that the fidget spinner won't go very fast at all. So you're going to probably need something like an ABEC 7 skateboard bearing, which is what I'm using here. I believe that you can get faster bearings than that, but that's what I'm using for this one. Please take into account that this is an old bearing, so yeah, it would work better if you had a new one, but you know, I'm all for recycling, so it's better to recycle one than buy a brand new one. So I repeat the same process as I did to the first one, glue the edge, and then I'm going to stick those together so that they make a nice bond. What I'm also going to do, so you can see, right, in a couple of other videos that I've seen on fidget spinners, people have glued round objects like coins and or even bearings to the surface of the other bearing. So that's not a lot of contact point between the bearing and whatever it's being glued to. That's the whole reason that I cut a crescent shape into it. So this is the finished product here. So that's my fidget spinner. So if I flip it over, now there's this big hollow gap in here. Now what I guess is that if I were to put hot glue in there, it's going to make it spin a bit faster as well. So that's an improvement that I'm going to do later on, and I'll show you in the next video how I've improved it. So this is a really easy, cheap build to make. One old skateboard bearing and two old bottle caps from soda bottles. But yeah, it works. It does the job. It's not the best one ever, but it still works. Okay. So yeah, that's the first prototype fidget spinner number 1. So I hope you like this video. If you like my videos, please hit subscribe. If you've got any suggestions or ideas on fidget spinners, I'd like to hear them. Obviously they're quite popular at the moment as a toy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Ka kite anō.